How you doing, Whitney? Welcome to Liquidated. I don't know if you watched a couple of the other episodes we've been on, but I like to get a lot of the old school guys from CT on to let us know what they're working on and kind of their origin story. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the Liquidated crew, and let's go from there.
Yeah. Well, first, thanks for having me on, Eric. It's great. I've watched a few of the past episodes. They're fun. It's good to kind of relive a lot of these things because you have a lot of friends of mine on the show. So I get to hear all of these different stories from a different perspective than my own. So it's been cool to listen. I've been in the space for a while. I got in 2017. I'd actually just retired from traditional work. I'd had a couple of businesses that were pretty successful that were cash flowing nicely. So stepped away from normal 9 to 5. And then I went leverage long into crypto at the top of 2017 and spent the next couple of years just figuring it out. Got into mining, had a couple of podcasts, went to almost every crypto conference that there was in 2018 and 2019 and just built a really good network. And then I found my way to this conference at Fidelity's office in Boston in I forget if it was 2019 or 2020. And it was basically right now it's everyone who's managing or running any of the DATs plus anyone of note in the Bitcoin mining industry. And there were probably 150 of us in that room. And coming out of it, I just caught the bug, focused entirely on Bitcoin mining. And I launched a company called Compass Mining in 2020. And it just took off like a rocket ship. Like we went from 0 to 96 employees and 0 to 525 mil in revenue in a year, 14 months. It was just bananas. Like I wasn't ready for it. I don't think the industry was ready for an offering like ours. But yeah, Compass has just continued to crush it for the last 6 years. And a couple of years ago, I got into AI, focused on building different kind of data orchestration systems. And then I launched Ringfence with Charles and a couple of other friends in 2023. And the token just went live a couple of weeks ago. It's trading pretty nicely on virtuals. We've got a bunch of big releases that are upcoming, but it's been a journey so far. It's been fun.
What is Ringfence? I know I think I invested in it, but I don't remember looking too hard. Think, oh, my homies are doing something. Let me give them some money.
Yeah, man. We the first round was like a party round. We basically just went to all the friends and said, "Hey, look, we're doing this." It's at a pretty low valuation, and so I think our first round is like 90 people deep. But Ringfence builds data orchestration architecture for artificial intelligence. So the easiest way to think of it is like right now, every time you meet an AI model or an agent, you have to reintroduce yourself, and then you've got to like guide it to saying something like, you tell it you're a doctor, give me medical advice, or you're an attorney, read this contract for me and point out the flaws. But it doesn't remember. So the next time you come back, it's just, you got to do the same shit over again. What we are building is the unlock that allows you to not have to repeat that process. So every time you meet AI, whether it's an agent or a model, it knows everything about you. It can automatically provide you specified information that suits you specifically.
And what about the other project you're working on? There's another AI project, or?
So Ringfence is one. I build a lot of shit on the side. So like I randomly won a hack. Like I participated in some hackathon close to me just on a weekend. I was bored and won the hackathon. So I built that product out. I'll probably launch it here in the next couple of weeks, just like on Twitter. But essentially what that is, are you familiar with vibe coding? Like, have you vibe coded anything?
Okay. I hear about it on Twitter. I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah, well, me neither. So I'm not a developer, but I use vibe coding software to just generate ideas, and it saves me like $150,000 that I don't have to pay like a designer and a team to build a demo. But the problem right now with vibe coding is you still need a dev to get you over the hurdle and like ship your site. So I built a platform that you just drop your vibe coding link in there, and then we source the dev for you, connect you with the dev. They build the site for cheap, and then they stay on to manage the build for you. So it's it's been interesting to build. We'll see how it does once it's released. Ringfence is,
how do you monetize that? You just take a percentage of whatever you pay the dev.
Yeah, very similar model. So, but there's all of these devs that are right now struggling to figure out where they're going to find work once AI takes over. But there's actually a ton of work out there. There's just nobody that's built the bridge between these like junior developers and people with a need.
feel like most of the devs are just going to have to really focus on AI and then their existing skill set and maybe kind of become entrepreneurs, because there seems to be a lot of opportunity to make money if you have knowledge in both areas.
Well, I mean, dude, you've built a traditional business, so you know how long and how hard you've had to put like just the time in.
Yeah.
And you're not technical, I'm not technical, but we grew up in an era where like hustle was enough, like you could get over the hurdle.
Yeah.
And now it's just not. Like now hustle is not enough. It is, you know, we are going to see the first single person $1 billion company in the near future.
Yeah.
But for now, you know, devs still have a massive upper hand. If they can get some hustle to them, which some of them do, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I find it hard. Like, I have my law firm, which, you know, will be disrupted at some point with the autonomous vehicles and AI. I built the AI agent and to assist with a lot of the paperwork and filing and kind of maintenance you need to, work on statute of limitations, make sure you're not doing anything wrong with that respect. But, you know, I find it scary as someone looking forward to try to figure out what business to start, whether it be in AI or anything. Cause like, I feel like, okay, if I start this, like how will AI disrupt this in like 6 months? It's like, it's almost like there might be something better every 6 months or every few months. So it's like, I don't know where you make that leap. Like, okay, this will last for more than 5 years, you know, like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah. I think that the name of the game is just getting distribution and then having, you know, either a syndicate that can fund new ideas that maybe get to, you know, 5 to 10 million in ARR versus, you know, taking these big swings at something that may go to $1 billion. I think that's where the sweet spot's going to be for people like you and me, frankly, who just, you know, how to build a business, you know, how to scale a business, but it's just it's locking into something that can be disrupted by tech. So these smaller businesses give you the ability to essentially, you know, get them up and running, generate some good cash flow, and then you can either flip them or you just, you know, let them run until they're disrupted. But by then you've already made all of your money.
Yeah. What about your mining company? Like, where are your miners? Are they in Latvia or?
No. So Compass is mostly based in the US. There's some equipment in Canada as well. But most of the facilities, of which there are 16 right now, I think, are in the US. I haven't been involved in operations since 2022. I've just been largest shareholder rooting from the sidelines.
Yeah, not bad. I have, like, if you heard of Cormint, I have some investment stake in Cormint, which I like. He was a Bitcoin maxi, and usually when I invest in like a company, I'll see if they have skin in the game, and he put like a pretty large stack of his Bitcoin into the company. So it's usually a good indication things might go okay.
This is James, right? That's their CEO.
Yeah.
They're good guys.
What's your thoughts on the market? Do you trade, or do you just invest, or you just kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly done my fair share of trading and investing over the past 7 years. Right now, it's really hard to call, man. I don't have the time to spend in the trenches, and you know, I mean, I've got my long-term bags. I'll swing into some things that friends talk about every once in a while, but I'm not as active as I was even 6 months ago.
So
how about you?
I kind of started trading a little bit just out of boredom. Like I'm trying to slow down my lifestyle a little bit. So I got to replace that with something, right? So I've been, you know, spending a lot of time boxing, doing cardio, like recovery work. Obviously I run my law firm, which is busy, but you know, guys like you and me that have kind of like I don't know, but I'm guessing, but you have ADHD like I do. Like my brain's like all over the place all the time. So if I have like a spare moment, I have to figure out how to fill that space. So I've been trading. You know, it's you know, more difficult than I thought it would be. You know, your leverage trade, you get stuck in these longs. You got to have discipline and kind of have the balls to stay in some of this stuff. But I've been doing pretty well. I try to focus. I'm not as much of a person that, you know, does technical analysis. I have so many close friends in the space that are really good at this stuff. I kind of I won't say copy trade, but I pay attention pretty closely to what people are up to or what the narratives are, and then try to go from there. And that always seems to work pretty well in a bull market. But once we start getting into like a choppy place or a bear market, things can get kind of interesting. But I'm basically a Bitcoin maxi. I've been a Bitcoin maxi since 2006, whenever I got into the space. And I remember when I met you, I was like, oh, Bitcoin miner, this is dope. Like, it was cool to meet you and go through that process. We've had some fun experiences in Dubai, getting to know each other and getting to know a lot of our close friends,
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
It's
Bitcoin mining. Sorry, what were you
I just say it's funny. Like, we're kind of about, like, it's one of the few times in history, like, retail got ahead of institutional. So it's like,
yeah,
we're all kind of these, it's kind of like a 60s era, like we're just like these punk kids that, like, we're right, so
yeah.
It's fun to see all of us become founders or, kind of leaders in the space as time has gone on. Some of our friends are interviewing the president of the United States. It's
I know.
insane,
Wild. I mean, the industry was so small when we got in, and you could meet everyone in a year. Literally, you could meet the entire industry in a year and get to know people on a first name basis. And now just everyone has grown up. When we first came in, whatever, almost 10 years ago,
yeah,
people are still figuring their shit out. And it's been really cool to see everyone get more involved. I mean, dude, before crypto, I was always an entrepreneur, but I just had random jobs, like whatever jobs would allow me to build businesses. And I remember I was selling puppies before I stopped working, literally selling puppies online to rich people. And then 2 years later, I'm educating the House Financial Services Committee on Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
It's just a wild experience.
And it goes to show, like, never give up, like, especially in my life. And part of the reason I do this podcast is, like, to give guys that are trying to get in the space, like, advice or how to make it or things to think about when you have a bad situation. But, like, I imagine with you as well, like, I've had these various inflection points in my life, and a lot of them were very tough. Like, I was having a difficult time at a job, wasn't going to become the partner or whatever else, or something horrible happened in my life. And, like, you have these moments where, like, you want to give up and quit. And you'll find later, if you really fight through those and just think about solutions rather than how bad your life is, like, they end up being the best things that ever happened to you. So as a business owner, that happens almost all the time. So I don't know if you have any experiences like that you want to share, but I think that's really good, advice to give people.
The resilience is everything. Like, as long as you're above ground and breathing, you have a shot. And I mean, I don't know. I notice it more in America than elsewhere in the world, but growing up as an American, you really feel legitimately like you can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's not the same everywhere in the world. But, I think that if you lean into that as an American and you just never quit, eventually you'll get there. But you can't, you have to look for the silver lining in every bad situation, because usually, like you said, your bounce is where the big things come. Like, it's that, like, oh my God, I got to quit. There's never going to be anything better than this moment right here. And then as long as you stick through, everything changes. And, and it's going to happen over and over again. Like, before Compass, I'd done all right financially. I'd, retired. I had enough money to live forever. And then I max risked it all and ate a bunch of shit. And for 2 years, we went from being, like, financially sound to to being able to bootstrap Compass. I had to move my family in with my in-laws just to have the money to build Compass. If I would have quit, I'd have been screwed. But because I stuck it out for another 6 months, I have a 9-figure asset now.
Yeah.
You just got to push through.
And how does it work with Compass? Like, miners, like, they obviously, get Bitcoin for mining. Like, do you guys have to sell a lot of that Bitcoin, or how you get to hold it, or, like, what's the strategy for that?
So Compass is not a Bitcoin mining company. It's a hosting services provider. So we simply, the idea when we started Compass was to give individuals industrial scale Bitcoin mining prices. So they'd be able to come in at a cheaper hosting rate and get their machines, which were purchased in bulk, at a better price. And I mean, that's 99% of the business. So the only machines the company runs are usually test machines, or they are machines that have been reclaimed. But we try to get them back into people's hands as quickly as possible, just because we want to decentralize mining. And we believe that like decentralization is more about who owns the machine than where the machine is held.
What do you think about what Jack just came out with for those little nodes, I think, or the miners?
Proto's dope. Yeah. So Proto, the thing that I find the most intriguing is their repair process. So like just pulling the rack out, the card out and putting in a new card saves a ton of time. I mean, I haven't talked to the guys at Compass yet, but I would imagine that this is going to help a lot of the repair facilities that are in operation right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be able to have so much faster turnaround times on the machines that they're servicing. So
yeah, I'd love to run a miner eventually. When I get around to it, I'll have to probably reach out to you. So when I could probably buy one of those that Jack built, right, and just set it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the noise level's like. If you were to put a normal ASIC in your house, it's like if you were to turn a blender on full speed and leave it all day long. That's essentially the same level of noise. And I haven't been around the Proto to see how they perform, but it's probably pretty similar noise-wise.
I haven't done that. The only thing I tried to mine was like I lit like 100K on fire or a little more, probably trying to mine Chia.
Yeah. You didn't make any money off Chia?
I didn't make any money off Chia. I think Chia is like, it originally was like trading at like close to like $1,000 for like a few weeks. And then now it's trading like $20.
Yeah.
And mining it was like people were just like burning tons of cloud storage space, like to mine. And I didn't do it the right way. You got to be pretty sophisticated. I wasn't sophisticated enough to make it work, but a lot of pretty sophisticated poker players got burned on Chia pretty bad.
Yeah, there was Helium caught the tail end of this and did it right, but there were a lot of companies that jumped up to try to sell hardware for mining, but you weren't really mining anything. And that was, we used to mine everything. You'd mine Ravencoin, you'd mine whatever, Monero, and then everything just transitioned as soon as Bitcoin, or as soon as ETH switched to proof of stake. I don't even know if there are 5 viable mining coins anymore.
Helium, I had like a mid 8-figure, maybe 9-figure fumble. Like before they started Helium, I hit up the guy that started it, who was like a Raiders fan, and I'm a Raiders fan. And I had like the first $100,000 to my name, and I hit the guy up. I was like, "Hey, bro, let me invest in like your seed round. I'll give you $100,000. Like, please, please, please." And I still have the text. Like he told me to basically fuck off. But I bought like one Helium miner, which he told me by. He's like, bro, just buy a miner. Like I can't let you into the round or whatever. So I got buy one Helium miner for $500. I left it in my law office for like 3.5 years and forgot about it. And I checked it like randomly one day. It had like 80K in there. So I sold it and got a few Bitcoin, which is probably worth like, probably now the Bitcoin's worth a few 100,000. So those are not bad, but
so yeah. That's pretty good trade. Still, made more than
it was a good trade, but there's these few situations where anytime I've offered anyone like significant money for a business, it's done extremely well, but they've all said no to me. So
my biggest fumble, I think, was Charles approached me with a Solana raise. They were struggling to raise. Yeah. And I whiffed on it. I, just completely passed. So
what were you getting the Solana at, like 20 cents or something?
Yeah.
God, so sick.
Yeah. I think I still was able to get it off market for 50 cents, but those bags were long gone around $200 last cycle.
I had a ton of Solana like at $3 and I sold it, I think like at 58 or something. And I'm in a similar situation like with Hype. It's like I want to sell Hype soon, and I'm wondering like, oh, am I gonna fuck this up again? You know what I mean?
Hype is, so they announced today that the CFTC is trying to figure out how to let Americans trade on offshore exchanges, and immediately there was a red candle from Hype and a green candle on BNB. I don't know, man. I think Hype right now, every dip is a buying opportunity. I don't have a bag, transparently, but it just seems the team they're too locked in. Like they're well capitalized. They have,
and it's extremely ethical. I heard they're the most ethical team that's ever been assembled in crypto.
What more could you ask for? But founders that are already giga rich, they're smart, they understand the market, and all of their revenue they're basically buying back their own token with. So and they're making money, right? Like that's the other side is people look at it and they view it from like, if you're a founder who's making, let's say 500K a day, ethics or not, you're not going to fuck the business up because you're making so much money.
Right. And what do you think about, have you ever tried to venture in like any of these like online casinos or start any business with that? Like I know someone like Keyboard Monkey started Yeet. I'm sponsored by them for my upcoming CFN fight.
When are you fighting next?
I fight October 1st in Singapore, and I'm absolutely fucking miserable right now. I got to lose like 17 pounds in a month. Wow. And so I'm like training like twice a day and then eating like perfectly, and then I'm not losing any weight. It's like a miserable, which I don't understand.
Who are you fighting this time, or has it been announced?
There's some Bitcoin guy out of Vegas. His name's Ken Bozak.
I know him. I know Ken.
Yeah, so I don't know what to expect, but he's lost quite a bit of weight to get ready for this fight. So
wait, hold on. So Ken, back in the day, I don't know if you remember this at all, but Ken used to be like pink or orange haired, and he would go to conferences and just be a troll. He was hilarious, really good dude, but does not strike me as someone who would jump in a boxing ring.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, if he has pink hair or blue hair, he probably has mental issues like me. So I'm sure he's got some fighting ability, but we'll see. But yeah, are you going to Token?
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be there. I think I get up there like this 27th, so hopefully we can hang out for sure. I'm leaving October 3rd, and then I might be taking a small trip to Koh Samui. I'm looking for villas in Koh Samui right now, so one of my boys wants to take me to like see if we can see what I like, so we can make some bids on some stuff, which is part of the reason I might be selling my hype. But
to buy a villa in Koh Samui, that's not such a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it's like, again, like I want to fuck up and the fucker goes to $800 or something like that. Like Arthur Hayes said it's going to go to $5,000. I don't know if you saw that.
I mean, I think it's 10x from here is 500. I think we could do that. No problem.
Yeah. That's a lot of money,
It is. Have you been to Koh Samui?
I haven't, but I've heard from multiple people it's their favorite place to hang out.
Yeah.
And so
I'd agree.
Yeah, so I want to get a villa there. I don't know if you know this, but like in Bangkok, if you buy like an expensive place in Bangkok, you can't rent it for anything. You can rent it for like $6-7 grand. But in Koh Samui, you get good money for the Airbnb. So I was gonna buy a place there, maybe stay there a few months of the year, and then go to Bangkok, rent like a penthouse there with the money I get from Koh Samui, and then hang out in LA part of the year as well. But my kid's 11. I'm trying to get him to 18. And then I'll be out the door. LA's hit its top. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I haven't been back in like 5 years. Is downtown still? It's probably more homeless city.
It's a shithole, and like the cops don't care. Like if someone was shooting up heroin like right in front of you, like in the cop was standing there, like they wouldn't care. They wouldn't say a thing.
That's wild.
And like a CVS or like a 7-Eleven opened close to my place downtown. And I live in like the nice area downtown. And like they had to shut down after 3 months because people were just walking in stealing stuff and like not making any money.
Crazy.
So it's a strange world. Like I think real estate's topped. Like I think as an alternative, people are going to want to buy Bitcoin, and real estate is an investment. Like people can't afford to buy a house anymore. They can rent it. And then the people that can afford to buy a house, I think the alternative will be to buy Bitcoin. Because they don't have to worry about getting sued by the tenant or air conditioning issues or roof issues. Like the only reason I have real estate is because it's a hard asset. Like no one can just pick up and steal from me. Like I guess that's the only benefit of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, if shit hits the fan, you got a place to at least sleep.
Yeah, no, like you should always have one place for sure. Yeah. For sure. But buying multiple places for investments, I'm not as so sure about. But I guess.
How do you think about that? Do you approach it from purely ROI perspective, or are you only buying potential rentals of places you'd also like to vacation?
Not at all. I'm like retarded about it. Like I own like I think 5 houses in LA or 4 houses in like an office building. And a lot of them are there just because like they're close to like relatives or help take care of people. Like I ran out a few of them, but I'm not smart about but if I was really smart, I'd just buy like a multi-unit and rent it out. But in either of those circumstances, like if I was just focused on ROI, I would just buy I would just buy Bitcoin. But I got a villa like in Bali recently, and I guess like so I said like people can't just take it. Technically they can take it in any other country you buy that you're not a citizen, and they have like way different laws there about like recording. It's not like the States like I'm 98% sure I own my villa, but I'm never gonna be like 100% sure because like I've like double checked all this shit. Like it's a very strange process.
Well, Thailand, I think, has really weird property ownership laws for foreigners.
That's what I heard too. But I'm relying on like David, like I only fly first class guys, and like JMO. These guys are like some of these guys are extremely successful, so I'm using their lawyers, so I'll let them figure it out.
There you go.
And I do have I got a Bangkok fiance right now, so maybe I think if I'm a citizen at some point, then that's not an issue. You know what I mean?
Oh, there we go. It's the I see. Play the game in the country. It makes sense.
You look like you're in pretty good shape since the last time I saw you, which was a long ago. So what have you been doing to get in shape or?
You know, I mean, just gym, the boring stuff. I live in a really cold place, so you know, summers we're always outside and active. We've got a big garden, lots of yard work. Sounds super boring and basic, but it's the truth. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about living in Latvia is the connection with nature. Like their biggest holiday here is essentially a pagan midsummer celebration where it's like if Burning Man was, on a much smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
But this over the past couple of seasons, it's just been about being outside and being more active. But yeah, I think I'm down, I want to say 35 kilos since January.
That's great. Yeah, you look great, dude.
Thanks, man.
Is there like a nightlife there, or is it kind of like a slow, more outdoor place?
So you can get whatever you're looking for here. Charles and a group of guys came for a stag party here, and a lot of people from the UK and around Europe come to Latvia for their bachelor parties. Mm-hmm. So there is a pretty good nightlife. Everything is open very late. I mean, people here when they go out, they're out until 6 regularly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun and very inexpensive.
And the drink of choice is vodka, probably, or something.
Beer, I think, for most people, but yeah, vodka is the hard liquor choice.
Yeah. When you go to these conferences now, like, what are you looking for? Are you more of as like looking at it as an investor, or just like to make connections?
Generally, it depends on the conference. So Token 2049, we've got a big product release. So I'm going there to demo with Base and with virtuals and with some of our partners. But then it's also about connecting with friends. I mean, the conferences now are the only time I get to see everybody. So it's nice to be able to a couple times a year hang out with everyone, grab a few nice beers and kick it. I don't gamble the way that I think a lot of the guys do. So I miss you guys when you're at the casino, but I also leave probably with a little bit more in my pockets.
Yeah, some of us are trying to retire. Like I was like, I had ways of making money gambling for a long time. I won't get into more details about that, but for like 20 plus, I was a professional poker player for like until 2014. I actually won a poker tournament and paid off my student loans and started my law firm and kind of got into other things. But like the way I made money gambling for like 20 something years, like was very consistent, like almost like an ATM machine. Obviously, I'm not talking about like gambling at the casino or something like that, but more like I was the house to be more specific. But in the last like year and a half, that business with AI and some other issues has gotten very difficult. So like I actually like quit that business like I think like a couple of years ago, which has been like a lot better for my stress levels. But it's kind of interesting, like prediction markets and like betting on sports or other things have changed, and it's becoming much more difficult for like I guess the house to like make money on stuff like that, which is interesting to me.
Prediction markets are really. Prediction markets are almost the news now. I mean, they really are. I mean, the election was everything. It showed almost to a T who was going to win, and in most races. So it was really strange to see CNBC citing Polymarket during the election.
I think the last 2 elections, like I looked to prediction markets to figure out who was going to win the election. Like, and I think that's very accurate. And it's interesting to me too, like older people, they only still watch CNBC or Fox News, but all the real accurate information is on X. or I don't know where else to find more accurate information or checking the prediction market. So
I wonder if people are going to start using that to guide public thought and opinion. Like that is immediately where my mind goes. Just like people manipulate normal markets. If we operate under the assumption that what is happening in the prediction market is what's most likely to happen in society, and then you have the ability with 10 or 20 million bucks, liquidity isn't super thick on a lot of these things. You can essentially shape public opinion by propping up a prediction market in a certain direction.
Yeah, I think politically people will probably do that in certain circumstances. That'll be interesting to see played out in real life. I don't know if I've seen that yet. But yeah, I could totally see that happening. And it's also curious to me how AI starts shaping people's minds and thoughts, I get AI's as nice as possible as they could be to you if you tell me did some fucked up shit, It's like, oh, it's okay. Like, at least you're identifying the problem, like, or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's Elon said the main fear for AI is the pen is mightier than the sword. And he's more concerned about talking human race into doing something that's against them than for them. And
yeah, that's the thing that you always think about, is because these models can essentially reprogram themselves to an extent. And then when you go to update the model, or you have it update itself, it can write something in its code that can completely deviate from the plans that you have for it. So there's been instances where they've put a couple of models in a closed environment and let them interact. They've developed their own language that only they could understand. There's been instances where they've modified their own code, but it's still very basic. So it's not like it's at a threat level. But 10 years from now, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I had dinner with like Brian Pellegrino, who's the Layer Zero guy, like a few weeks ago, and he's 100x smarter than I am, and he's been working in the AI. He didn't seem as concerned, which made me feel better, but I still think like it's 50-50 that we're all nuked in like 10 years, but we'll see what happens.
Right now, they're probability models more than they are intelligent. So they're just looking to predict the next word is kind of the easiest way to think about it. So they don't have truly formed plans or thoughts that are past what their immediate task is, like at scale, but that will change. It's not going to be as fast as people think. Like, I don't think we're looking at AGI or ASI in 5 years. I think we're probably closer to 2040 when that happens. But I think the exciting thing is that before we get there, what we're probably going to get is the ability to extend our life pretty significantly.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I use some of the Brian Johnson blueprint pills and stuff. Have you followed that guy at all?
I have. I've seen the diet. I mean, how did you get on with that?
I mean, I bought his pill set, I used it for a while, but I got like some blood tests and I got on something else. I'm doing like that 10X protocol. That was like the Dana White guy. And that's definitely helpful. I think the getting on the right vitamins based on like blood test or genetics test helps a lot. But I think the guy's kind of crazy. Like, I don't want to live a life like that,
It's wild. I mean, where does the enjoyment come from?
I don't know. But it was funny. I was watching like a video of like Burning Man, and he was in the fucking background, like behind the DJ. I was like, well, what the fuck? This is strange,
Blueprint, but that week.
Yeah, he must be just some fun stuff sometimes, but yeah, not a life for me, But I think definitely having like discipline and like a workout regimen and doing some recovery stuff is really good for your mental health. Especially in the crypto space when we're all we don't really have a schedule. We're just doing what we're doing all the time,
Yeah. I mean, sitting is supposed to be terrible for you. And, I think all of us that are locked in, I mean, it's not as bad as it was. I don't know, man. Maybe we're just old, but I'm sure there are people out there that are camped in front of their computer for 16 hours a day trading. But I don't know why they would anymore. Like anymore, I don't think you need to be camped in front of your computer. I think you just set alerts for the right people and wait. I mean, it's not like you're going to FA, use fundamental analysis to get in early on something that you're going to be able to flip. All of your stronger fundamental tokens are going to be multiple year holds at this point.
Yeah, I don't really know what, that's what I think what we're doing at our age. Like the kids that, have, my producer that handles this podcast, like, and all of his friends that like they spend all day at home. They don't leave their room.
Yeah.
They leave their house for like 30 minutes. Like, I don't know what they do. It's crazy. Like, so I don't know what the world's going to look like. There seems to be this huge creator economy, these meme coins. It's all bullshit to me, but I don't know what to think about all that in the future,
I think I think internet capital markets are going to take off. I think we're going to see accredited investor laws in the US change in the next couple of years. I think we're going to see launch pads for equity companies where they choose to tokenize instead of having, old stock certificates. But yeah, the CFTC and Hester Peirce at the SEC, they seem to be leaning heavily into these kinds of positive changes. And I'm speaking with someone from Blockworks, I think last week. We were talking about just these changes that are coming, and it's going to be a really interesting time for American retail, because for the first time ever, people are going to have the ability to legitimately bid on startups. And I think what we're going to see is a nasty overcorrection, and people are going to start to be questioning whether or not accredited investor laws were actually a good thing in the first place.
Yeah.
Because most people don't understand that like 95% of your investments they go to zero. So, if you're not practicing risk management and you only have a limited amount of capital, I mean, it doesn't take you long at all to burn through your stack.
Yeah, and VC investing is more difficult. Like, if you invest in like seed stuff in crypto, like usually you'll have a result in 12 months, whereas like I've done a bunch of seed round stuff or family funds. I'm probably in for, over 7 figures for sure in some of this stuff. And like, this was like back in 2017 and I still haven't seen a dime, for many of these things. Like, I'm going to make money on some of them, you know what I mean? But being an accredited investor doesn't mean much. It's really, you got to find the right funds that have the right investments. Like, I invested in Anduril a few weeks ago. I got into Neuralink, but even in these ones, like, I'm paying a fucking huge premium to these companies that are offering me these stuff. But I want to be a part of it. So, fuck it, I'll give you some money.
Well, and the other side of it is, right, these companies will definitely go public. So when those stocks are liquid, now they're an asset that you can do all kinds of things with.
Right.
Because the company, especially if you do it early, these companies aren't going to die. The government's going to keep Anduril alive, and Neuralink ain't going anywhere. So they're all going to trend up. They'll have their corrections. You'll be able to borrow against them safely at low interest rates because the banks will favor that, and you can roll that equity over so many times. It's
But but yeah, that's the benefit of those things. But like, I'm not used to being in the traditional world. Like, I'm almost all Bitcoin, like, like probably you are. But I've switched a lot. I've started investing in stocks quite a bit. Like high stakes. What's that?
What do you think of the DATs, the Bitcoin treasury companies?
I don't know. Like, I think it's not going to end well. That's if I had to be honest, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I think anything Bitcoin could end well, could do well, but I think like ETH or Doge or anything else, maybe besides Hype, won't do very well. But there's going to be a lot of competitors with Hype. Like there's EdgeX just came out that people are trying to farm, which is going to try to have a airdrop similar to Hype. I think there's some other exchanges that are coming out, some other DEXs that are coming out there to be the same thing. But Hype seems to have an incredible amount of market share right now, and it's hard for me to think that they're not going to continue that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't see them going anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, perps are crypto's best product ever, and Hype is where all that action is right now.
But they're gonna put a perp DEX on Solana for sure.
Probably a few. They're going to have to get those up and running. But I don't know, man. This could be a situation where the first mover in Hype's case could just be insurmountable if the other DEXs or the other perp exchanges don't get up fast enough. Is Drift? I think Drift is a perp DEX that's on Sol. I don't know. I haven't used it. But
I haven't used it. I know they did there was like a lighter. One of my friends like farmed the hell out of lighter, but I didn't get a chance to touch it. But EdgeX is the one that people are really pushing, right? It's from some Singaporean billionaires, I guess, or something. But
nice. Okay.
I don't know. What do you think about the market? Do you have any exits with your coins, or are you just holding forever, kind of like me? Or
Yeah, I tend to be a long-term holder, max retarded when it comes to that. But
yeah,
I don't really have any risky positions right now. I think my most risky position is in my startup, and obviously that's a long-term hold. So yeah, I think generally the market is great. I think we're actually about to enter a really nice period. Normally, end of year is good. I think it'll be the same this year, and then it's all going to come to. I'm not sure that the 4-year cycle exists anymore. It just like I don't see BlackRock letting Bitcoin go down 80%. So yeah, I think we may have broken out of the 4-year cycle, and now what we're going to get are unfortunately more boring kinds of gains, but probably more predictable. Like you'll probably be able to enter a crypto position that you can almost guarantee is going to go up 20 or 30% over a year, when you're not going to have that in TradFi.
yeah. What about DeFi? Like people think with this stable coins and everything else, we're gonna have a huge DeFi market.
I think DeFi is on track to replace a lot of banking services. I think stable coins are going to be the medium of exchange that we all become familiar with over the next 20 years. I think that all utility coins are going to essentially die and roll into stable, and those L1s are going to roll into stable coins. And I think all tokens are going to essentially become products, and those products may have utility within a platform, but generally speaking, I think you're either going to have a product coin that you use for attention and marketing and customer acquisition, or you're going to have a tokenized security in some form, either an equity or an RWA.
Yeah. What do you think about the DATs?
Man, I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like all the Bitcoiners sold out. I feel like we started this cypherpunk movement to, free ourselves from the system. And then the first time the big dollar swung people's way, everyone jumped on the train.
Yeah, here the other thing too, like from Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Milker said, like a lot of the Bitcoiners, they just don't believe they don't believe Bitcoin's becoming like institutionalized. They don't want to be a part of it anymore. That's the other thing that I'm hearing.
But what are they going to do? Like these people have, if you're a Bitcoin maxi and you've really bought into this, I think the hard money principles of Bitcoin still exist. So you still have the ability to mass up your Bitcoin and disappear and be just fine.
No.
But you're just we're putting too many eggs in a government's basket. And at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to predict it. They're going to be able to do whatever they want eventually. And they're going to have infinite capital to supply. So I don't know. I really think that we are in, and I know people joke about this a lot, but I think we're in one of the last eras where people will be able to just generate wealth and level up. I think that we're entering a period of the world where you either work hard for the next 30 years or your family may be stuck in like whatever class they're in at the time that upward mobility becomes disabled.
Yeah, it seems to be that's what Peter Thiel was talking about in his last interview, or they're asking if he was the Antichrist. But it seems like the middle class is going to disappear, and they're trying to find ways to keep it. But it's going to be difficult unless the middle class starts buying the right assets right now, which doesn't seem like they're going to.
Well, and people have to stop pretending. You can't live in the lower class and want to be in the upper class and like kill yourself with credit. You got to be willing to slog it out and be poor so that you can later have what you want.
Yeah.
Status is dangerous, man. I mean, and we're all guilty of it too. Like we all hang out with all of our friends and all of us do the same dumb shit. We're all just, who can get dinner, who can get this bottle, who could, but
but we learn, hopefully like we're trying to learn at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. But the same, in that same token, most of us didn't act like this when we didn't have anything, it's not, and that's what allowed us to have what was necessary to take the calculated bets to win big when the opportunities presented themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like there's gonna be a lot of opportunities in AI. Like Bitcoin is obviously our opportunity, and people get lucky on some of these meme coins or otherwise. quantum could be an interesting narrative after AI. So I've tried to assemble some things to buy in quantum. I haven't bought them yet, but I have a list.
Yeah, quantum is going to be massive for health. I think it could be used for anything, but I think that ethically the first challenges that'll be put towards are longevity and like curing these diseases that are otherwise preventable.
Yeah, I got a pretty big position in CRISPR right now because I feel like with the gene editing and then AI, that things should start moving there, but we'll see.
They got to move it back on shore, man. You can't, like, that business of all businesses, it has to be in the US. I think we did ourselves a huge disservice by pushing CRISPR into China when it first came out.
Yeah.
Because even though I understand the unethical aspects that people claim, but science is not, it should not be subject to value-based judgments. Like, some of the stuff that you got to figure out in the name of advancing society may be ethically gray. But as long as it's not like hurting anyone, it should be allowed to proceed in the US. Have they moved back, CRISPR?
I think they're still in China. Yeah. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting play to make. But yeah, playing around in the stock market's it's not as fun as crypto, that's for sure.
It's too boring, man. Like, 5% just doesn't get the juices flowing after you've watched a God candle.
Yep. So when are you headed to Singapore?
I am there on the 28th, and I leave the day of F1. So I leave in the morning.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll plan a night. I gotta be losing weight, but I'll probably go out anyway.
I stopped drinking in December, just like that was going to be my thing this year to give up.
I'm sober right now too, but I can still go out.
For sure. Oh yeah, we'll tear it up. There's we'll grab sushi or something. We got to get all the guys together.
All right, brother. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being on Liquidated. Hopefully, if you could be a guest host one of these times too, I'm gonna start having more people on, probably 2 or 3 people at once, 4 people at once. But love to have you again.
Thanks, Eric.
And let's make some good time in Singapore, brother. Thanks for coming on.